Good day, everybody. This is Yin Yang with Morsels of a Thought number 1739. We are in Launch by Jen du Plessis. It is a America's Mortgage Mentor launch how to take your business to new heights. This book is so good to map onto a personal life as well as to use for mortgage lending. It is so crazy how it is so relatable to us. Okay, so I say that we have to remember that our friendships and our relationships are all living things that we need to nurture them. So if you're not calling your mom, then by that token, on that day, your relationship is deteriorating. Even though one day doesn't mean very much, 6 weeks can mean a lot. 6 months can mean even more. So, what you do is you look at your relationships and say, what am I giving or what am I getting? First, according to Jen du Plessis, is what do they get from me is a philosophy. So let's start on page 181, which is where we stopped last time on the second paragraph. So anyway, I'll read the big idea. This is the chapter 5.5. Don't go dark. The big idea is make sure you have a system in place to communicate regularly with a client as their loan is working its way through the process. So when somebody's going to the hospital or they're having a defibrillator put in, or for God's sake, be there for them. Anyway, anonymous quote. The customer's perception is reality. In other words, what they perceive of you is their reality. You have to give it credit, give it credence. And if something is going wrong, says the author, in the process, or something is held up, that's really the time to keep them up to date. If you don't have answers for the client because you have to check with an underwriter or a manager, you really need to keep them posted every step of the way. Unless, of course, you want the trust account to be completely drained. And what she's talking about in the trust account is the actual intangible trust of ourselves, our heart to the other heart. Okay. They simply don't want to be kept in the dark. If you don't have an answer, call them and tell them that. If you know when you'll have an answer, call them and tell them when it will be. That's important. You can't conceal something. You can't say you're a president of a tenant association and you hide the accounts for 14 months. That's crazy. But if you don't have an answer, you just say, I don't have an answer, and post that on the bulletin board. Or if you're having a defibrillator put in, call and say, I'm just waiting here for, and whatever. And, says the author, don't hide behind keyboard confidence. Just one simple phone call is all it takes sometimes, even if there's nothing to say and everything is going great. You call your mom and say, oh, everything is going great. When things are running smoothly, says the author, that might be the time to do something original and unexpected, such as sending a video message via email. You can deliver a positive message, quote, in person, end quote, and that will go miles and miles toward them being very happy with you, your team, and your company and service. I have a friend who does that. I have a friend who does AC Rosita, gives me video clips to say hi. So, constantly anticipating, the author says, constantly anticipating their questions and communicating in a systematized way, a drip campaign throughout the entire process speaks volumes about your service, care, and character. When you want to nurture a relationship, keep a reasonable interval between uh, update times. A reasonable interval, maybe once every 2 days, maybe once a day, maybe once every 3 days, maybe once every 4 days. It depends on how close you are. If it's an emergency and you're going through it and somebody's being there for you, make sure you give them hourly or 2 hourly updates. Not 2 hourly updates, but updates every 2 hours or something like that. Note, says the author, make sure your clients and partners don't forget that you are always seeking referrals. Every time you have the opportunity to call them, whether it's to talk about disclosures or submittal or conditional approval or appraisal or receiving the clear to close, it is an opportunity to remind them that you appreciate referrals and what? Referrals. If you're not communicating in a system-driven way, you're foregoing a lot of opportunities for referrals, not to negate the fact that when you first meet them, that's the best time to set the tone about referrals. Confirm that your team or your processor, everybody follows your system for touching base with the client at the times predetermined in your system. You and your team are either always depositing or withdrawing from the trust account. So, for God's sake, be consistent. So, trust, meaning the real trust, not money, but trust. All of this advice also goes for communicating with your referral partners during the loan process. You are depositing or withdrawing every time you communicate or don't communicate with them. So every day you are depositing or withdrawing from the trust. As you're going through the loan process, says the author, keep in mind that you want to take similar actions so they don't feel in the dark about their client, their referral. If they give you a referral, you keep them up to date about it. So Jen's jots on this section, 5.5, don't go dark, says, an important component of your loan process is a predefined system for communicating with a client to keep them informed and happy. Communicate even when nothing is going on and there are no developments to report. Anticipate a client's apprehension when they don't hear from you. Chapter 5.6, Opportunity Knocking. Anonymous says, practicing on clients is very expensive. The big idea is build automatic steps into your minding process, mind, M-I-N-D-I-N-G, that will then help you build your business. There are countless ways to constantly grow your practice. Some of them are simple, easy to do steps that should be automatic in your process for either a finder or minder to complete. For example, when you receive a contract from a listing agent who you haven't worked with in the past, create an automated process to reach out to them. I hear loan officers say that when a contract comes in, they call occasionally and introduce themselves to the listing agent, but they're not doing it consistently. This is a task that must be done 100% of the time. It's a great way for you to filter out and strategically decide if a new listing agent whom you've never heard of will be someone that you're going to allow as one of your partners. If they bring too much drama to you or your team, they shouldn't be part of your sphere. As soon as the contract comes in, go ahead and review it before calling the listing agent to make sure you know all the pertinent dates and deadlines for financing contingency and appraisal contingency. Then give them a quick call and let them know something along the lines of this. Hi, listing agent, this is Jen du Plessis. I just wanted to let you know that I've had a chance to review the contract in its entirety. I don't have any questions about the content thus far, but I wanted you to know that I've made note of all the pertinent dates and contingency deadlines, and my team and I will be working toward those dates to ensure that we have a smooth closing. This is a great way to just introduce yourself to the listing agent and see if there are any questions or comments from them. You may find that they have removed the lockbox, revealing an opportunity for you to communicate with the appraisal management company to notify them that the lockbox was removed, so they will need to contact the listing agent to gain access to the property. Another reason to call the listing agent is to discuss the appraisal process. Remind them that all appraisals are ordered through an appraisal management company and that you are not allowed to have communication with the appraiser. You don't even know who will be assigned to inspect the property or who will be the inspector. To have comparables available for the appraisal that support the listing agent's decision to place the home on the market at the price they did, and finally discussing the timing of receipt of the appraisal and your company's process for reviewing and approving. As soon as you're done with the phone call, write a quick thank you note to the agent telling them you're ready and capable to provide a smooth closing. We are reading Launch: How to Take Your Business to New Heights. We read wisdom from other people's life experiences. Morsels of a thought of wisdom are to get, hopefully, that we learn what to do for ourselves. We can map things onto our lives. We go, hey, those are nice ideas. We can titrate ideas from other people's lives and life experiences. When you know the right thing to do, that is called wisdom. When you actually do it, that is called virtue. Okay. As soon as you're done with the phone call, write a quick thank you note to the agent telling them you're ready and capable to provide a smooth closing. Now, the second thing is that sometime during the process, and you can decide when this is best for you, send an email to the listing agent to say that you'd like the opportunity to meet with them sometime during the loan process. Why wait until after closing? They don't think they need you any further. You can tell them you'd like to give them an understanding of how your business works. You'd like to see if there's an opportunity for you to share more about how you can provide value and increase their business. This is not an opportunity to do an info dump about you and your practice and all the programs that you offer. Instead, focus on sharing a testimonial from another real estate agent or a success story about a client, providing them with ideas about how you can help their business grow, expose their brand, or how you create smooth transactions with your perfect loan process, allowing them to focus on their role instead of interfering with your duties during the process. This is a simple way for you to make an impact on your mortgage practice. Call the listing agent as soon as you have had a chance to review the contract, followed by a thank you note. Send them an email at a later point during the process, asking for a short meeting with them to see if there's some way that you can impact and create value for their business. Jen's Jots. There are 4 of them. When a contract is received and the listing agent is new to you, have a system for introducing yourself and your practice to begin the process of determining if you have mutual grounds for a business relationship. Discuss the appraisal process so expectations are clear. Follow this up right away with a thank you card. Follow up during the loan process with an email requesting a one-to-one meeting to begin exploring a future business relationship. Mind your tasks, roles, and activities in Chapter 5.7. Knowledge without application is useless, says Anonymous. So if you have wisdom and you don't use it, it's like you didn't have the wisdom. See? A lot of people are saying this right now. I can't even credit the right people because everybody has been saying this that I have seen, mentors and oh gosh, what's his name again? BTC, Dr. V, Jim Rohn, all these people, they say if you don't use your knowledge, then might as well not have had that knowledge in the first place. Nobody's going to give you credit for something you don't do with if you don't do with the knowledge that you have. The big idea is sample list of Minder activities to get you started. Okay, here's a sample list. You are the maestro, capital M, for communication. Manage updates to all parties. Obtain initial financial documents. Loan placement analyst. Review contract. Manage and monitor deadlines. Run LP or DU and all revisions. Prepare pre-approval letter. Prepare file for initial disclosures. Manage disclosure signing. Manage digital file folders. Request for rush, exceptions, and waiver of fees. Initial problem solving with processor. Prepare and manage change of circumstances. Communicate and approve final CD with processor. Run credit. Complete application details with client. Daily huddle. Additional tasks if you're licensed for them. Initial conversation with leads for Finder. Capital F. Write thank you notes. Lead management. Prepare mortgage coach edge. These with your licensed to do those things. Section 6 is the grinder. Grinder. We are reading Launch, How to Take Your Business to New Heights by Jen du Plessis. She is wise beyond measure. She has been doing this for over 40 years. She has this book, and it has a foreword by Michael J. Mayer, The 7 Levels of Communication. So, the big idea is that without a grinder, you can expect to spend countless hours working in your business and not on your business, or letting too many actionable items slip through the cracks. Oh, the name of the magic pill, capital M, capital P, for success is called hard work, quote, end quote, capital H, capital W. Wow, says the author, I can't possibly imagine my practice running without an effective grinder, capital G. These days, there is so much emphasis on the importance of our database alumni loan community. Unless you want to spend most of your day at your desk dealing with the minutiae of expense reports, database entry, or outbound phone calls to clients and partners, I highly recommend you consider hiring a grinder. Let's take a moment to revisit this role I first introduced in section 3. We're currently in section 6. The grinder is the person who organizes the day-to-day business tasks, such as database management, outgoing lead generating phone calls, creating and printing flyers, putting seminar and class packages together, tending to the finder's schedule, event planning, expense reports and budgets, and more. This can either be one role or two. When your practice is large enough, this will be the latter. The two roles are database manager, quote, end quote, and marketing director, capital D, capital M, capital M, capital E. The grinder role is so important. It is the coal that keeps our engine moving forward. Without a well-defined database as the finder or minder, you will have no clarity in the tasks, phone calls, status of loans, etc. to work from. If you forget to enter a new prospect if you forget to enter a new prospect or don't have pertinent information at your fingertips, such as personal data, business goals, notes, loan features, or birthdays entered accurately, how could you possibly be able to follow up in a consistent and concise manner? Concise. Look at Stanford University once had a question in their application forms. They use this every so often. It says, describe yourself in one word and write a 500-word essay about it. So there's this one man who wrote the word concise, and he got in, even though the whole essay was that one word. It's crazy. Concise. How important that is to be concise. In my practice, I have the grinder role broken into two different people, sometimes with the same title, and at other times the duties have been performed by separate individuals. Let me share my thoughts on this, says Jen du Plessis, so that you can be crystal clear when deciding how you would like to create job descriptions. First, we have the database manager, capital D, capital M. This is the role with the most administrative duties. This person does not have to be licensed, as they will spend their days completing database entry for clients, partners, and transactions. For example, when you had a when you hold a seminar and return with 40 or to 50 business card, your grinder can enter all of the information into your CRM, prepare and send thank you notes on your behalf, and initiate the drip campaign for the 70 days of communication. 70 days. Then weekly, monthly, and quarterly, they print reports for the finder or minder to utilize when making lead generation to utilize when making lead generating phone calls. The grinder also, let me start that over. Goodness gracious. Then weekly, monthly, and quarterly, they print reports for the finder or minder to utilize when making lead generating phone calls. The grinder also schedules meeting spaces for events, prepares and sends monthly mailers, performs special projects, and completes expense reports. Additionally, this grinder is your retention manager as well. Every successful loan officer focuses on the business coming in, current business, and retaining the clients already gained or closed. If the information in your database isn't complete and accurate, you'll lose so many opportunities. The database manager role is critical in keeping the finder, you, and the minder focused on each of their specific roles so that nothing slips through the cracks. Some grinders can be licensed and in tandem with the database manager role. They can also conduct your outgoing phone calls to your active, passive, and credit prospects to nurture them until they are converted to live deals. They can contact your database to quote, check in, end quote, or to schedule annual reviews or call to wish people happy birthday. So grinders is capital G, database manager is capital D, capital M. Okay. The other grinder role, capital G, is that of marketing director, capital M, capital D. Anyway, excuse me, again, this role can either be two separate positions or one single position based on volume of leads, loans, or activities that you as the finder generate. There are so many available there are so many ideas available today to market your business. Of course, as the finder, you need to focus on relationship building as much as keeping in touch and staying top of mind with past clients. While the database manager ensures that all contact information is complete and accurate, the marketing director, MD, is the person who engages with your database on numerous levels. This individual is your liaison for marketing. The grinder can organize a first time home buyer seminar, a meet and greet by my team event, or a client appreciation event so prospects can see what it would be like in your community database. For your current and active clients, the MD will send milestone gifts and assist the finder with recording video, thank yous, and updates. Because this person is typically more outgoing than the database manager, they can also schedule meetings with new partners for the finder. Additionally, the MD can implement the drip campaign for the 70 days of communication by sending predetermined emails, phone calls, marketing items, and preparing pop by items for the finder, capital F. They can also make phone calls to obtain RSVPs for events and do social media postings. Anything that will assist in generating new business, keeping active clients happy, and retaining referral partners and closed clients without the need for a license is exactly the role this grinder plays. Having a grinder to complete small, seemingly insignificant but extremely important tasks will positively guarantee your ability to grow. We will get to Jen's Jots next week. And I will talk to you again later. I hope you are inspired to have a great day and that you learn something from morsels of thought of wisdom so that we know the right things to do, so that when we do them, we create virtue. Okay? And old Kinderhook was a man from Kinderhook, New York. Martin Van Buren, the eighth president of the United States, was known as Old Kinderhook. He wanted everything to add up quickly. Old Kinderhook.